I will say, though, Kelso, that if you are hoping to use that charisma in this scenario, what would be more likely for a high charisma, high wisdom character to do is try to get a better cut than what you're already getting. That you could roll for. If you're
Great.
trying to roll
How do I do
for
that?
getting the help that you hired to help with what you're doing,
What was the mercenary band we encountered called?
you don't know.
But
Oh, they were Vinzoli.
Yes,
which is the race.
True. And so
That's the
Kelso, you could
nationality.
argue
Oh, but you said Heaven's Towers had conflicts with Vinzoli in the past.
Frigovici.
The Vinzoli mob has been a thorn in the side of Heaven's Tower for several years now.
So Kelso, you can argue that we were not told we would be stealing this snail out from under one of Frigovici's underlings. And kind of try to bluff that way.
Make it seem like we did them a favor as well.
Uh-huh. And that they sent us in woefully unprepared. They told us it was a retrieval mission. They didn't say that we were going up against mercenaries.
I understand that that Zephyr helping us was not part of this stipulation, so I could understand not wanting to give him a cut. However, I would like to discuss the matter of this being given to us as a retrieval mission. There was certainly no mention of us having to steal the flail snail's shell from one of Vinzoli's.
Frigovici's. Well,
Frigovici's.
Vinzoli is the country, but Frigovici is the competitor.
I can't fucking hear the name of the people without thinking of Zipoli from Olive Garden.
I'm sorry. I'm
Making
not
me
really
want-
sorry.
Is the
It's
DM
making me
hungry?
want to tell you that.
Does the
The
DM need a
city's
sandwich
name
break?
is the city's name is Cortizo. They are fighting the Vinzoli.
They're fighting the Zipoli.
Mom's spaghetti.
Next session is going to be us stealing tieflings from Croissant, which is across the way.
And then having to fight a
I'm
bunch
going
of black
Myconids next. I'm feeling some mushroom stew.
mushroom,
don't-
myconids and black
Don't
pudding.
kill mushrooms.
The port
You
of Bellow.
You miss Puffin, don't you?
Yes.
Mm.
The next mission will take place in Port of Bellow.
Puffin.
Dang, that one's good. I'm writing that one down.
Puffin.
I'm glad I got to. I'm glad I got to do. Not deploy. What's the word I'm looking for?
Utilize.
Fuck, man.
Just
Words
for
for me
that-
tonight are rough.
Just for that, you get advantage on your persuasion check for this next roll.
Wonderful. Delivery is the
DM
word I'm looking for.
inspiration is
I'm
people.
glad I got to redo the delivery on that joke. Delivery is important.
So roll me a persuasion check with advantage because of the good joke.
Oh, okay. 13 in total because the first roll was a 2.
Okay. She thinks about it for a moment. I was honestly hoping that we had sent you in time to keep you from butting heads with Frigovici's men.
Well, I can assure you, heads were butted, and there are.
He's now
is it-
missing 2 of his underlings.
Is it 2? Is it only 2?
2 dwarves and then just the old guy from town. There was the
Okay.
smug dwarf, a lackey dwarf, and the old guy.
Do you
Fair
happen
enough.
to have proof of this encounter?
Darian.
Believes that Rin
unbuttons-
still has the letter.
Darian
Oh.
unbuttons the cuff of his. Well, I guess he's not wearing a suit. Darian is rolling up his sleeves to show the lightning scar going all the way up his arm.
Lightning
Uh,
skills.
a gift of the Saurus. Another word for combat. Scuffle?
Battle.
Scuffle.
Rin also pulls one of the poison bolts out and slides
There
it
you
across
go.
the table to her.
She will take the bolt and inspect it closely.
I believe you'll recognize the poison used.
Indeed, I do. How many?
6.
Deception check.
What?
Deception check.
Oh, I thought you were asking. She was asking how many bolts.
Oh, no. How many did you face?
Do you still say
That's
6?
a bold-faced lie.
But he
3.
did it so casually, which again is partly because he was mistaken on what we were talking about. But
Yeah.
tell me that he wouldn't have said it just as boldly.
It's true.
You said 3? Roll me a deception check.
I'm good at deception.
I mean, there
Someone
were
had to
3 people.
Ow,
I was saying 20 is pretty
don't...
important.
Retcon and say 6. The dice have been rolled.
Not how right
Oh.
works.
I will take it under consideration. There may be some things that we are able to pull from the creature that may somehow happen to slip to the cutting room floor and make their way to you.
I'm sure that would be most agreeable.
Indeed.
Your
Well then.
generosity is appreciated.
As long as you are all foregoing the full payment and instead taking a cut, we will take a few of those bags back. And one of the armored gentlemen reaches over and takes a few of the bags. Is there anything else that I can help you with? Wonderful.
I'll need a guest pass to one of the guild trading facilities.
Oh, you're serious?
Yes,
Ah.
I rarely joke.
In that
No.
case,
Dorian looks over at him with like the
There's a look.
They-
There's a twinkle in his eye that says that the statement in and of itself might have been a joke.
roll me a
He sounds like he's gonna-
persuasion check.
Dorian kind
Yeah,
of
it
weighs
sounds
it
like
because
he's
he
doing-
recognizes that a lot of the things he said probably weren't really jokes because they certainly didn't
Charisma is
feel
my
like them.
strongest thing ever, even when I'm not playing a charisma-centric character. God, I'm great. I rolled
Yeah,
a
see-
19, so that's a 26.
Okay.
Which is not helping my +3 for the person who can't think of any decent dialogue.
It's okay. It's like it's midnight. We're wrapping up. Don't worry. She thinks for a second. You have done quite a bit of work for Heaven's Tower in the past. I think it's about time that you've earned a long-term pass to the trading. I will bring it with the cut.
Much obliged.
She stands. Thank you for the tea. She and her guards head out the door. The next day, a agent.
That night,
Oh, yeah.
that evening, Liberty's gonna slip out of the house and spend the night on the far side of town
Okay,
next to the shrine.
good to know.
Also, Darian, about an hour or two after she leaves, would like to head to town in search of Lai.
Okay, I will say you are able to find lye. To find a barrel big enough of lye to fit a body, it would probably be 12 gold.
Is that in total?
For a single barrel that you can
Okay.
fit a single body.
Okay, how much would the Lai cost me?
Oh, I apologize. That would be the barrel full of lye.
I see. Okay. 12 in total. Sounds good. So our current cut of the gold, what does that divvy down to then?
Each
got
of
100.
you got 100 gold pieces.
Okay.
As long as Zephyr's getting 100 as well.
Yep. Yes.
All right.
Darian will hand that over to him later, with a small conversation. Is Do we want to say that at some point Rin handed out the 40 then?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, you can say
Okay.
that.
So that's the extra 10.
Was there anything you wanted to do at the shrine, Liberty, or are you just saying that that's where you spend the night?
So, two things. Let me
Okay.
see, here. I will head a little bit early because I want to do a bit of shopping on that side of town.
Okay.
And where is Spell? I am looking for a so for augury it says specially marked sticks, bones, or similar tokens. Could I perhaps get a well, I don't know if it would be culturally like a deck, um
Of tarot cards,
sort of
sort of
like,
idea.
yeah, like a Tarocca deck. Would that
I'd
be
say that would work. That would work for that sort of spell.
okay?
I
It
just want to
would
say,
probably cost you 3 silver.
Oh, it has to be worth at least 25 gold pieces
Oh,
for this
okay.
spell.
Then yeah, you can definitely find a set that would be worth 25 gold pieces.
wow.
Mhm.
I have to say though, Hobbit, that as someone who
Mhm.
spent like the entire week respecking and working on the Cartomancer and Freddy, that you asking for that item put a very large smile on my face. It's like, yes.
One of these days, I will
Cards.
have a tarot deck. I need to get a tarot deck.
I mean, you've got the
My
critical
sister used
role one.
decks.
Noted.
I don't know if she still does.
Who did what now?
My sister used to make tarot decks.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Ooh, and especially if you can have someone make them, because I have to admit I don't really care for like the olden style look of them.
Yeah, they can get kind of lame. I've also been told that you are never supposed to buy your tarot deck. You are supposed to be given your tarot deck.
Really?
Yep. That's how it works. You're not
The
allowed
cards
to buy
have
it.
the cards have to choose you. You
Yep.
can't choose the cards.
Hmm.
So does that mean that someone buys them and then gives them to you?
No,
That
they're,
is-
they're, they basically become similar to heirlooms. They're passed down. They're passed down from one person to another, not through family, but just through you can for old tarot decks. You can literally follow the path they took through history because they're handed down from one person to another.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
You technically can buy them for someone else, depending on what your Wiccan culture is. The rules change from person to person because that's literally what that religion is. But yeah, for the most part, you're not supposed to ever buy it for yourself. That's like the hard, fast rule.
Interesting. See, I never knew that.
I got onto witch talk at one point in time, and it was wonderful.
I've studied Wiccanism, and my sister's Wiccan.
That actually makes
I
a
li-
lot of sense.
I live in a Christian household. The fact that I play D&D is concerning enough for them.
Dude, I was a pastor's kid. I'm here now. So
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
I work at a
However,
Christian summer camp.
however, my mother is 50, so she lived through the 70s propaganda. So
Oof.
as did my sisters.
So yeah, you can buy
No, well-
a tarot deck for 25 gold. Are you using it, or is that just that's what you wanted to do on the way?
Yeah, I'm just buying it so that I have that for later.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'm just spending the night at the shrine, extra time studying and praying.
Mm-hmm. I assume you make your way back to the Ramtook Manor at some point in time, though.
I'll probably leave the shrine once the moon is out of the sky, whether it's
Okay.
early dawn or whatever. As long as it's not one of those days where like the moon is in the sky during the daytime.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's it set the moon sets about 3 a.m. that morning. approximately. So you do make it back to the Ramtook Manor before the first light of day, but not by. You probably beat it by maybe a half an hour.
Okay.
Unless anyone else wanted to do something that night other than buying a barrel of lye. We'll move.
At some point, I'm going to have a conversation with Zafir, but it could also happen the next morning.
I think we're probably going to have that next game unless you have it in your head now.
Nah, it's good.
Okay.
What is Rin's conversation with Xavier?
I'm supposed to fucking train him, aren't I? You don't know that yet.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. Well, because I was gonna have a conversation, so I didn't know if you
No,
want
go
a
for it.
preference over that or not.
Actually, let's do those right now, real quick, because otherwise we'll have forgotten them by next time. So Darian, probably that night, as everyone's settling down and getting ready for bed, that's probably the best time for catching Zafir.
Darian's going to do that with the gold for his pay is cut in hand. Where is he at currently? Where do I find him this evening?
You find him in the sunroom. He
On the second
appears
floor,
to
right?
be sharpening his axe to a much too fine of edge than it needs to be.
Of course, naturally. Darian knocks on the door frame.
Don't give me that look, Forge. He is new at this.
He's going to trigger me.
This is why you're training him.
We're talking about Zafir, right? Not me, right?
He's going to make me angry.
Okay,
we're talking about Zafir.
Don't scare me like that. I'm like, what did I do?
Nothing. You're fine.
So Darian knocks on the door frame.
Just kind of looks at you.
Okay. Darian kind of tosses him the pouch. This is your cut for the work.
I get a cut?
You worked, did you not?
I mean, sure. Pockets it.
I have discussed with Rin some matters of opinion, and yes, Autumn. Shh. I have conceded that. I mean, of course, not my way is the best way. I'm aware of this, but he has offered more insight into alternatives. And I would say that you did an excellent job over the last week. You have certainly proven your capabilities. So that is your cut for the job.
Your ramblings have not made any more sense with age.
They have not. I agree. This is not the easiest conversation for myself. How?
Just say the words that you want to say. This is very simple.
I have agreed to have you start picking up this line of work. If you desire, you can continue with this. Rin has agreed to use some of his connections to find you proper training. Being more of a magic user myself, I would not be as helpful as someone who is trained in martial fighting much longer than I.
Are you planning on hiring me out to adventuring parties? What is this line of work you speak of?
Consider it mercenary work. Either to help
So
with
you are
us.
hiring me out to adventures.
You may hire yourself out to whom you please. I just ask that
But
you...
it has to be under the guise of my owner hiring me out, correct?
Times have changed
Since when?
since I've recognized that it has. Growing up, when I was your age, things were much harsher than they are now. Tiefling and Tabaxi are granted much more freedom in doing things and owning things, and so on and so forth, that I have always been wary of, because, again, you have seen what I have seen. I don't need to explain that. Uh, um, no, we will. I have decided we will be dropping such guises. You are a grown man. Times have changed. You are free to do as you please. I am not your master. Not outside of this household, not inside this household. Same applies to your sister, of course.
Takes a pause to let it sink in. So, I am still confused. What is changing?
Uh, the way you are treated in the home
Oh, I love him so much.
has been expanded upon to the outside
Can Rick
world.
fucking hear this travesty of an attempted conversation?
Unfortunately,
I really hope
no.
not, because
This is killing me.
It's rough, but I love it. It's
the
I've
concerned
had
father is
conversations
concerned,
with my
okay?
dad about stuff like. Well, I've had conversations with my father that have ended like this, and I was just so confused at the end.
See, I can't relate to that because I've never had a conversation with my father.
Trust me,
Which
you're
isn't
not
entirely
missing
true.
out on
Which isn't
much.
entirely true, but still. uh,
So,
Autumn, pick a room. Hobbit can relate way too much to that. I could see her smile. Zafir?
with how do I say this? With all due respect, these last 2 days were fun, and I enjoyed it. And I mean, with your permission, I will gladly continue doing so. I don't know if I don't take this the wrong way. You're going to take this the wrong way and think that, oh no, Zafir wants to travel with Darian because he loves him. No, I don't know. I don't know if I want
Dorian
to.
is also stifling a chuckle.
I don't know if I want to travel with people who aren't in the group with you, if only because I know that we always have the fallback of pretending like I am your slave so that people don't try to mess everything up.
The
Does
point-
that make sense?
It does. The point I'm making is the, so to speak, with my permission. That is
Yes, that
non-existent
hasn't
at
made
this
more
point.
sense the more you've said it.
That is non-existent at this point.
Your permission is non-existent at this point. So you are
You are
revoking your permission.
You requiring my permission is non-existent. You are free to do as you please.
Yes.
Don't go killing the local bards, but still.
Oh, well, okay, yes, fine. Yeah, yes, we've always had this one rule, but this is no different than how life has been before. What is changing? You still have not answered that question. You. I understand that you have not treated me like a master would treat a slave. This has been well documented and annoying sometimes because you try to treat me like I am your son, which I am not.
I resent that, but I understand.
I Do you have a different way of saying what you're saying? What have we done here? Because I can go grind my axe somewhere else.
I don't think he's the only one with an axe to grind.
Oh my god. Why can I not have this man as my son? I would raise him so well. I would love him and pet him and call him Zafir.
He's 27. You're not raising him at this point.
And he's wonderful, and I wish he was mine.
Chakurmak arite. For crying out loud, Zafir. I don't care what you do. If you want to hire yourself out to other people to work for them, that is fine. You don't need to pretend to be my slave. You don't need to pretend to be my son, although that part I resent because I consider you my son. Do what you want.
I was already doing so and will continue to do so. Thank you. Is that all?
Yes. And then Darian kind of storms out of the room. I swear to God, they are so the same.
Grabs the whiskey bottle from the front table.
No. I swear to God, they are related.
Does Rin hear? Does Rin hear that?
Yes.
Please.
As okay, so Rin,
No!
who has been enveloped in his book downstairs.
No, that was not yelled out loud. That was muttered under his breath.
I am fully aware. And for story purposes, I am taking the reins here.
Oh.
Passive perception is decent.
You have been reading your book downstairs in the office with your feet up on the desk, as you do. Before you start hearing mumbling from the room above you, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. It's starting to get louder, and you're not able to focus on your book at this point. And you notice there's a spare room upstairs somewhere. And you saw Liberty leave, so she's not using it. So you decide, you know what, screw it. I'm going to take the book. I'm going to go to the spare room. And if I have to wrap my head in blankets to keep their yelling out of my ears, I will do so. You start walking up the stairs. And as you make it to the top of the stairs, you hear the last yelled bits. And as you're walking down the hallway, you see Darian begin walking out of the room on the very far end of the hallway off to the left. And he's just muttering under his breath, I swear they're related. And that's all. That's all you hear.
Rin hears that, smiles quietly to himself, and keeps walking till he hits the room at the end of the hall.
Okay, off to your left is a sunroom where you see Zafir just kind of looking at his axe, but not really looking at his axe. It's kind of in his lap, and his eyes have just kind of glazed over as he's trying to figure out what in the world just happened.
Okay,
but
so
on your
real quick-
right is a room that
You did fine, Kelso. You did fine.
You did fine, Kelso.
So real quick, because I realized my mic was off, I'm actually heading downstairs, which means I'm walking right past him.
That's the point. Yes, that's why
Okay.
he heard you mutter that.
I
on
swear
your
they're
right-
related. Oh, hi, Rin.
Yeah. Speak of the devil.
I just figured that might cause him to say something to me prior to him reaching it.
On your right is the door slightly ajar to an empty room furnished with beds and whatnot that you would assume is probably the guest room.
I glance. I sort of lean into the doorway of the sunroom and say, "Pissed off the stiff, huh?"
I am 90% sure that he pissed himself off by trying to
does
talk
that.
to me.
He's pretty good.
I don't understand that. He makes no sense half the time.
Most wizards do. It's kind of a creed for them.
Is it that?
Yep. They thrive on being cryptic. Unfortunately, we don't have a very good wizard because he's less cryptic than he is confusing.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Did you need something?
Oh, I didn't, and then I saw your axe.
I mean, it was pretty cheap. It's not that good of an axe. I was just sharpening it.
Oh, yes, and now it's actually worse than it was when you bought it.
I mean, I only hit like 2 people with it. It's not that bad.
Are you holding an axe or a steak knife?
He kind of runs his finger across the edge a few times. I mean, it's not serrated, but I could use it as a steak knife.
Then you're not holding.
Say again.
Then you're not holding an axe.
But see, now you are cryptic. Are you a wizard as well?
Yeah, I could be. I'd certainly make a better one than Darian. However,
The bar is pretty low.
exactly. However, my point is, an axe is a splitting weapon, not a
Hold on. Asterisk. The DM would like the players to know that this is a character who is pretty pissed off at his father figure at the moment. So what he said is not necessarily what the DM believes or even necessarily what the character believes. Okay, thank you.
I want to know what his intelligence
Disclaimer.
modifier is now at this point.
Oh, it's pretty low.
Clearly.
Who, mine?
No.
No.
Zephyr's.
Your
Oh,
son
he's
is
He's
a
a little bit dumber than I
barbarian.
anticipated.
He's a barbarian. Expecting him to actually understand.
No, not
A
everyone has
wizard.
to follow that trope. That is a lie. Not all thieves and rogues are edgy, okay? There's lots of tropes in D&D that don't need to be followed.
You okay, Forge? That was pretty extreme.
Just a second. I'm sure you're about to see why I got startled.
Oh no.
Little shit just jumped onto the opposite
Oh.
table.
Kitty!
Cat.
You little
Hey
shit.
man,
I didn't know he was down here.
He just about got punched in the face.
what a good familiar.
So it is not an axe, it is a steak knife, apparently.
It is if you keep sharpening like that, which will make it useless as an actual weapon.
But aren't weapons supposed to be sharp?
They're supposed to be sharp in different ways. An axe is a splitting weapon. You're not trying to cut paper with it, you're trying to cut wood. It's meant to go through armor.
Oh.
It's almost a mace.
Oh.
You're making strong crushing blows rather than cutting blows. See, look,
He kind of.
and he walks over and pulls out his dagger. This is made for slashing. It's supposed to be sharp. It's supposed to part flesh. However, if it came up against, say, chainmail, it'd do nothing. However, that axe will cut very, very poorly, hopefully, but it'll go right through chainmail.
That somehow makes sense. I am not used to things making sense.
I can see that. Don't worry, hopefully you'll start picking things up in time.
So what do I do now to the axe? It's sharp now. Do I just unsharpen it?
You can grind your whetstone against at the very edge of it if you're an imbecile, or you could just change the angle of your grind.
Oh, how? And he like is trying to hand you the axe in the whetstone.
Novices. And he walks over and is there like a side table or something in there?
Yeah, there's.
He sets the whetstone down flat on the table. He said, look, the whetstone's flat, which means right now if you laid the axe on top of it, you would have a 0-degree grind. You just
Okay,
have to
no, hold on. What is a degree in this?
And
You are not talking about temperatures.
look, This,
Okay.
straight up and down, and this, slightly to the side. If I move slightly here, I've changed my degree, or my angle. Degree and angles are synonyms. They mean the same thing. Different words for the same thing.
It'll be a persuasion check.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a long fucking.
Welcome to being a teacher.
Yeah,
Nat 20.
I'm not so hot.
Hell
on the
yeah.
So
numbers.
27.
You see, like, it immediately clicks in the back of his head, and like there's a light in his eye. It's like, oh, so if it is a shorter point between the edge of the blade and the tip of the blade, then it will actually not necessarily pierce, but instead split.
Yes.
Why can't Darian speak this clearly?
Because he is too cerebral.
He's too smart.
I wouldn't say that. Being too smart would imply that he knows what to do with his intelligence.
He now has to explain wisdom and intelligence.
Okay, now Zephyr's not that dumb, but yeah, he does.
I don't know. It's a
Okay.
complicated concept for a lot of people.
So, in that case, the knife would have to be the more gradual slope, so that it does slice as opposed to
No,
split.
for a knife, you would want a sharp slope so that it slices. The wider your slope, the less it will cut, and the more it will, for lack of a better word, crush
Okay,
or rend.
like that word, rend.
Yeah.
Have you fought with axes much?
Axes were not my specific specialty, but I was forced to use a wide number of tools when I was learning my trade. Crossbows, hand axes, swords, knives. Obviously, I settled on the rapier because it suits my build.
What would you say suits my build?
You're suitable for heavy blows, so if you wished, you could probably stick with an axe and get a fair amount of mileage out of it.
And
You
if
could
I
also-
wanted to branch out?
Looking at him, would I think that his build would be suited towards strength or dexterity?
Looking him over, he's definitely not weak. In general, he's got quite a lithe figure. He is a green bean. He is thin as a rail, but all of that is caught muscle. It still very much works very well.
So built like Forge.
He's built like you. Yeah.
If I had to give you a weapon that I thought you'd do well with, I would give you probably a long sword.
Well, I
Something that you can use with either one hand or two.
I did just come into some cash. Would you like to go shopping?
Sure. You might also need some armor.
Okay. You guys go shopping?
Don't get the heavy shit.
Oh, but... Oh, okay.
You need to balance your strength with your speed. Heavy armor will stop more damage, but it also slow you down and it won't let you use that top quick twitch muscle fibers to its full effectiveness.
Huh.
Otherwise, you'd see me storming around in full plate like an idiot. I use a
would
rapier.
look
That's
quite ridiculous.
the most useful thing possible for me.
Well then. Yeah. So you guys go shopping.
Boys' night out.
Boys' night out. Was there anything in particular? Was there anything else in particular that you were hoping to discuss with him, or were you just hoping to, in general, start your training?
That's the most of it for now.
Okay. So you guys go about. Um, yeah, you get him a new weapon that might work well for him. Not magical, just basic, but he pays for it with his own money, and he's quite proud to do so.
I probably also made him get a hardwood version of the same, like a hickory practice blade.
That is completely fair. He's very confused, but trust your judgment immediately. Yeah. All in all, the next day does eventually come around. The Ramtook Manor is visited as you all wake by a agent of the Heavens Tower. It appears to be one of the armed gentlemen who was with Najin. He carries what appears to be a large sack inside of which from inside of which he pulls a small oval-shaped shield,
Like
made
a buckler?
bigger than a buckler, but yeah. Made of what almost appears to be the model pattern of granite, but almost the color of bubblegum. So a almost vibrant blue with flecks of green and pink that occasionally catch the light. This is your new shield. It is in D&D Beyond. It is a flail snail shield. He also informs you that it only retains its enchantment for 30 days.
Oh,
Wow, it only
After
works for
which
30?
it only works for 30 days.
Oof.
After which it can be made into, I believe, a spell guard shield, but it has to be taken to a place for it to be converted. But that greatly reduces the cost and time to make it into that.
okay.
He also brings a what is known as a pilfer of love.
Filter?
A what?
Filter?
Is it?
Pilter?
Why have I've always pronounced it pilfer, but I think I've only ever seen it spelled, never heard it pronounced. It's a filter of love.
Pilfer is to steal.
True, you are correct.
So it's filter with a pH then?
Yes,
Oh,
it's like a
potion?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a potion.
Oh yeah, filter.
Yeah. No, this is a dangerous item. Is that
What's
something else they made from the flail snail as part of their bonus
luck?
cut? No, not luck. Amor.
Your heart?
So like a small vial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, heart would be corazon.
amor is love.
Yep. So it is a filter of love. If asked, it is made from the love darts of a flail snail. If you are familiar with the reproductive.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
That is all I didn't even need to hear, but
What kind of Cupid level shit is this?
I mean, do you know how snails
you
reproduce?
remember his one shot?
No, I'm remembering. I just forgot, and then was
Fair
inconvenient
enough.
just now.
Yeah.
Look up, YouTube true facts about snails. It's fine.
I'm good. DM, is that an accurate representation, the image I sent?
Oh, I didn't even look.
Of the
close
it's
enough.
more blue-gray with a pink highlight, right?
Well, I assume you're just asking about the modeling, not necessarily the actual colors.
Yeah, the modeling.
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay. Just more of a blue and pink with a high contrast then. Right?
Yeah, blue, pink, and some like vibrant greens. Have any of you seen Water Horse?
Yes.
It's been
The
forever
eggshell.
ago. But yes. Okay.
So an opalescent hue.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I am
What's the
equipping
word
that
for it?
shield.
The kind of clan.
Jesse,
Yes.
it is your responsibility to mark off the days.
Yes. These effects only last 30 days after the conversion of the shield from the flail snail's shell. Or is it possible to have the shield converted into a spellguard shield? Oh, cool. It's already on the list.
Also, this is all in flail snail lore. The
Mhm.
things that you can make out of their things.
Parts.
But yeah, I did quite a bit of research for that. All that.
I managed to
So,
find it.
point of order. Who is keeping the love potion in their inventory? That's terrifying.
Honestly,
No, don't give it to him.
while it
None
is
of us can stop
terrifying,
him.
he's probably the one who is going to be able to utilize it the best.
Yeah.
I'd rather give it to him when the time comes. I don't trust it in his safekeeping because his keeping is not safe.
Too late. Too late.
When the time comes,
Okay, he's
however,
too
it'll
fast. We wouldn't
probably
have been able to
when
stop him.
it'll be when he's already infiltrated a place and he's like, I need this person to be distracted for an hour. Oh yeah.
So if Liberty's present when these items are delivered, she.
I think I just
description.
I just made for just day.
Oh, you didn't know about the description. Oh, you haven't seen this at work, huh?
Ooh,
Yeah, no, Liberty. Just hearing. Am I familiar at all with this? Is Liberty familiar? Sorry, at all with this,
I
or
mean,
does she just have the name to go off of?
the filter of love.
Yeah.
I mean, there are always stories about love potions and whatnot. So, like, you're familiar with the concept.
Yeah.
Especially
Liberty.
having-
You've given me a Sultan killing weapon right here.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, no, Liberty, like, as soon as they, like, name it, she looks at it with a mixture of concern and disdain. Almost disgust.
I'm excited to see what I get to use this on.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. We don't need
I
another
really hope
Antigone.
the scenario unfolds the way I hope it will. And then I get to kill a Sultan.
Well, do we want to kill a Sultan or an Emir? Because
Yes.
Why not both?
¿Por qué no los
¿por qué no
dos?
los dos?
Lore question: which one controls the side of town that I'm on, even though I'm out of
The
town?
Emir.
Emir.
Which one makes my life inconvenient?
You live on the militaristic side of town, which means it's the Emir.
You're in the
Okay.
secular city, and the Sultan rules the more religious side of the city, where Liberty stays.
But yeah, so that's the
Knock
game.
down my book stacks.
That's today's game.
Alright, so we're playing again Saturday, right?
That is the plan.